What's up, Facebook, social media, family? Dave Uloa here, checking in. And I was actually challenged by one of my coaches to do more Facebook Lives and more communication, especially in this world where there's so much negativity, division, separation. He suggested I just share some stories and add some value. And I thought, okay, I'll take on the challenge. And so this is the first one. I'll be doing some more regular Facebook Lives and hope to share some stories, maybe some inspiration. What's up, my man Angel? How's Rhode Island doing, buddy? And I'm planning on doing some Facebook Lives and giving some value, sharing some stories, hopefully maybe inspiring. And I committed to doing that. So here's the first one, and I thought I'd start off. We have a lot of folks that are new friends on Facebook. I went through a whole purging process not too long ago and deleted a lot. I found there's a lot of people that deactivated their accounts. And so deleted all the deactivated ones and added some new friends. There's always a list of people that requested friends, but I've been capped at 5,000 for a while. So just added a whole bunch of new friends. So I thought I'd come on here and share a little bit about me in hopes that maybe you can share a little bit about you and we can connect a little bit more on Facebook. And yeah, Angel, thank you for asking, buddy. My injury is coming along. I'm 3 weeks into it. Broke my toe playing pickleball, and I'm like a caged lion right now. I haven't been able to play. My favorite sport now is pickleball. I haven't been able to play for 3 weeks, and hope to be out there, well, maybe another week or so. I don't want to go too soon. I've been known to try and get back out there too soon and then re-aggravate the injury. But I appreciate you, Angel. Hope you are doing well, my friend. And would love to, for those of you that are on here, love to find out, how do we know each other? Where do we meet? Feel free to put it in the comment section. And I'll just share a little bit of my background for those of you that don't know who I am. My name is Dave Uloa. I was actually born and raised in New York. My dad is from Ecuador. My mom is from El Salvador. They both migrated from South America and Central America to live the American dream. And they actually ended up in New York. And my dad was a dishwasher and a bus boy and learned English at night. My mom cleaned houses and she babysat. They met in New York. And they obviously got married, had 3 kids. I got my brother Walter and my sister Amy. And we ended up living in New York till I was about 10, 11 years old. And then around 1985, we decided to relocate from New York and move all the way to Los Angeles, California. To be exact, Inglewood or Inglehood. And if you guys remember the old Jeffersons, we're moving on up to the east side. Finally got a piece of the pie, and but we were moving to the West Coast, and we ended up living with my uncle to start off with. My dad, that's the only people they knew, and they had 3 kids. We had 3 kids, so we moved into this 1-bedroom apartment. Actually, it was a 2-bedroom apartment in Inglewood, sleeping on the floor in closets till my dad figured out a way to make ends meet, and ended up moving to Glendale, California, where I ended up going to high school. And I remember playing high school there. They didn't have a soccer team, and that's what I played for many years in New York. They didn't have a high school soccer team at the time, and I wanted to play sports. I knew I excelled in sports. I wasn't very good at school. I didn't take tests very well. I didn't like reading. I didn't like, and a part of it was that I just wasn't interested in it. So I got C's and B's and a lot of D's in elementary and high school. And but I excelled in sports. God's gifted me with some athletic ability. So I transitioned from soccer in high school and started playing basketball. And I was the worst. I couldn't even dribble the ball. I could barely shoot the ball. But I got so excited about playing on a team and playing sports and having a coach and being around a group of people that one summer I literally played for 8 hours a day, all the way from ain't to faint. And I came back the next year, which was my sophomore year, and was a lot better than I was my freshman year, and ended up playing varsity as a sophomore, starting point guard. And that's where that's where my energy went. I loved playing sports. I felt free. I felt alive. But then in the classroom, I felt stupid. I felt dumb. I didn't do very, very good in school. But luckily, because I played basketball, I was able to get a scholarship to go play at a university, Cal Lutheran University, as a matter of fact. My Kingsmen will always cherish those days there. And going off to college, I was 17 years old when I graduated high school, and I couldn't wait to get out of the house. Has anybody ever, I don't know if there's a lot of folks out there, but I wanted to be free. I didn't like being at home. I love my parents, but I just didn't like the rules. I was a rule breaker. They tell me to come home at a certain time. I would always extend it. And so when I first was able to get out of the house and be on my own at 17 years old, I lived in a dorm out there in Thousand Oaks, California, and I met some of my best friends at the time: Mark Harima, Paul Tapp, Rupert Sapwell, J.R. Woods. I mean, all these guys that Rob Beckerly, Tay Barnes. I mean, so many Russell White, so many people, Brian Cantwell, so many basketball players that I played with, and I was the young kid. And luckily, I was good enough. I started all 4 years there. Damon Ridley, Derek Clark. I mean, so many great players that I played with, and we were nationally ranked. And so I excelled in sports, but same thing. I wasn't very good at school, but I took school seriously just because I knew if I didn't do good, I wouldn't be able to play. So for me, playing was important, so I had to get the books done. And a lot of times our coach was very, very disciplined, and we'd have to go to study hall after practice, after dinner. We'd be in the library several times a week for hours upon a time. Supposedly, we're supposed to be studying and catching up on our work, but you know how it goes. But luckily, I got through, and I was able to graduate with a criminal justice degree and a minor in coaching. And in my mind, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but one thing I did know I wanted to do is I wanted to play professional basketball. And so all 4 years, I was telling myself and telling people, I'm going to play professional basketball. Like, what are you doing after you graduate? People were going to careers or going getting their master's degree. I'm going to play professional basketball. Now, mind you, nobody looked at me and said, you're 5'8", you're Latino, yeah, you can be a professional basketball player. But in my mind, it didn't matter. My dad was my hero, and he taught me how to believe in myself, and that if you have a dream, go for it. As long as you put in the effort, you have the right mindset, you can succeed as well. And through some interesting circumstances, I was actually able to sign a 5-year contract to play in Australia. So here I am, 21 years old, getting on a plane, flying across the world to Australia to play professional basketball. And it was some of the most amazing, inspiring. It helped me to believe that dreams were possible. You know, for many of us, sometimes we have a dream and maybe we don't accomplish the dream, or the dream looks a little bit different than what we thought it was going to be. But for me, I actually got paid to play, which is insane when I think about it. And here I am in Australia. I'll share another story of what happened when I got there, but played there for several years, helped our expansion team to go to the playoffs, and I would come home 2 months out of the year, and I'd be in Australia for 10 months out of the year. And not only was I a player, but I was also the coach. I was a stadium manager, and so many beautiful, beautiful Australians. The Newmans that I met over there, Mick Carr, who ended up being my roommate. We lived together, and Craig Waddy, and so many great players that I was able to meet. I'm going across the world to play basketball. I mean, can you imagine? I was playing for free for so many years. And so when I went there, that helped to inspire a dream that dreams are possible. But when I would come home 2 months out of the year, my sister played Cupid, and she introduced me to my beautiful wife. My sister was doing an intern for Yvette, that was economic development manager for the city of Burbank, and I was coming home for a couple of months, and she introduced us, and it was we became best friends right at the beginning. And because of her, I actually never went back to Australia. There was a lot of things that were happening with our family, but I decided that, man, she's got everything I'm looking for in a partner, in a life partner. She's smart, she's beautiful, she's funny, she cares, she's got a beautiful heart, and she's driven as well. And so we get into this love relationship, and literally we moved in really fast, and then we ended up getting engaged. So let me back up. So now I'm home, and I'm not playing basketball anymore. But what am I going to do as a career? And so because I had a criminal justice degree, I figured, well, I better use my criminal justice degree. So I wanted to be an FBI agent, but the FBI wasn't looking for my type of degree. And I didn't speak Arabic. I didn't have a finance degree. So they weren't looking for somebody like me. They told me to go get a job carrying a gun legally in some capacity. And then maybe in 2 years, I could lateral over. So I decided to become a police officer, and I tested for all these different departments, and I got into LAPD fairly quickly, including all the tests and the background checks and everything. And so now I'm in the academy, class of 798. Got my boy Mario Barrias, Marlon Marachi, and so many of our classmates that we would drive together all the way 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning to go, and going through a 7-month academy. You get pretty tight with a lot of people, all the way from arrest and control to learning the law to firearms, and I mean so many things that you have to learn and you got to pass. And not everybody that started with us finished, but I was one of the fortunate ones. I started and I finished, and we graduated in January. And during my graduation, I actually decided to propose to Yvette. I wanted to lock my spot, and we decided to get married. So we got engaged, and then in 1999, November 26 is when we actually got married. And so here I am as a police officer going through the academy. Before we got married, we're engaged, and everybody in the academy there, they asked everybody, who here is in a relationship, has got a boyfriend or a girlfriend? And people would raise their hand. And they say, well, half of you, by the time you graduate this academy, are probably no longer going to be with that same person. This is how stressful this career is. Says, how many are married? People will raise their hand. And I'm in between. I'm engaged. I'm not girlfriend, but not married. Says, how many are married? People raise their hand. Well, half of you, after your probation, so 7 months of the academy, and then you got a whole year of probation where you can get fired for anything, you're most likely not going to be married. And they're just giving us the statistics because of how stressful a career in law enforcement can be. And so now here I am engaged, but I'm one of those, I'm not like everybody else. You know, I don't like following the crowd. I've learned go opposite of what the masses are doing, and you're probably moving in the right direction. And so we ended up getting married November 26th of 1999, and I love to say that it was a fairy tale life. But as many of us know, we went through the ups and downs of relationships. And so I was LAPD for about 10 years, and my wife and I found ourselves in a rat race where we hated our jobs, we hated a boss. Does anybody else hate your boss or a boss? Are people telling you what to do? You know, I've never been really good at people telling me what to do. I like freedom. I like being able to choose as opposed to being told what to do. But I did that for 10 years. And I got to tell you, I got a lot of stories. A lot of stories working the streets of LA, from Hollywood Division to North Hollywood to Rampart, downtown, you name it. We probably saw it. And after that 10 years, it started taking a toll on who I was as a person. And I saw the worst of the worst that people would do to each other. And I started getting depressed. I started having anxiety. I started really shutting down. And I didn't like being around people anymore because I associated people with all the bad things that I was seeing every single day. And so, and I didn't have any goals. Like with sports, at least there was a teamwork and there was goals. And I just didn't feel really connected in that career. Not to say that it can't happen, but for me, it didn't happen. And so my wife and I were on the verge of a divorce because we were fighting all the time. We didn't know how to get along. We were struggling financially. The credit card bills were piling up and more money going out than coming in. And we were thinking about bankruptcy, divorce, and we were also on the verge of a foreclosure. And there was a moment in time where I think we both realized that if we want things to change in our life, then we have to change what we're doing. We have to change what we're thinking. And from that place, we realized that there was one common denominator in all of our problems. The relationship problem, the job problem, the financial problem, the happiness problem. There was one common denominator. And that one common denominator was me. It was me. It was her. It was us. So from that place of taking responsibility and realizing that we are in charge of our destiny, that our past does not equal our future, that if we started changing how we thought, maybe we would change how we feel. If we change how we feel, we'll change different actions. If we change different actions, maybe we'll have a different destiny. And that's when Yvette and I just started diving into reading books. Our first book was Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Talked about entrepreneurship. He talked about being in a rat race. I didn't know there was such thing as a rat race, of going to work, coming home, paying the bills, going to work, coming home, paying the bills. And so I said, man, there's a rat race. Does that mean I'm a rat? I don't want to be a rat anymore. How do I get out of this rat race? And so Robert Kiyosaki inspired entrepreneurship and being a business owner. I grew up, my dad was a deli man. My mom, like I said, cleaned houses, and she was a stay-at-home mom for many years. So I didn't know that somebody like me could actually be a business owner. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any background in business. But then I started reading, and then the next thing that happened is we ended up going to a Tony Robbins event. If you've never been to Tony Robbins, he's personal power. I mean, I left there and I learned so many things about meaning, that life doesn't have a meaning until we attach a meaning to it. And most of us, because we are in a disempowered state, we are attaching disempowering meanings to the things that happen to us in our life, as opposed to, what if we can turn a disempowering meaning into an empowering meaning, and instead of it debilitating us, what if it actually fueled us? And so little things like that I started learning, and I started feeling like, oh my gosh, this is a coach that could coach me in the right direction. I always did really good with coaches that I trusted and I believed had my best interest at heart. And so Tony Robbins became my coach. I started listening to his audios, going to his seminars. We signed up for his Mastery University, and life started to change at home, and it started to expand. And then in 2005, my wife and I were very fortunate through some interesting circumstances. We met a couple of guys that were starting a travel company, that a travel idea that had never been done, and we were living in Los Angeles at the time, and they were looking for some people to help launch the West Coast market. And so Yvette and I, we decided to jump on board. We took a risk. We sold our house. We sold everything, and we moved into a one-room apartment there on Buena Vista in Burbank, California, so that we can reduce our overheads and give this business a shot. And the first 2 years was tough. I mean, we were swinging the bat. We were doing all kinds of things, trying to figure it out. But luckily, we surrounded ourselves around people that believed in us, and we believed in them. And within about 2 years, we were able to leave our jobs and basically retire at a young age. And when I mean retire, I mean residual income was paying for all of our residual bills, and we were able to help a lot of people. We were able to take vacations, over 250 vacations in the 15 years that we had that business, and we learned a lot. We grew a lot, and we had a roller coaster just like everything else. And so we decided that that's who we are. We're more entrepreneurs than we are employees. And there's nothing wrong with being an employee, but I just love the idea of having no ceiling on how much I could make. I love the idea of having flexibility and being able to learn new skills and have new challenges and the ability to help other people. I wasn't so much going to work for exchanging time for dollars and just going to work because it was paying the bills. I really wanted to have something that was mission driven, and that's what led Yvette and I also to starting our Warriors and Queens movement. We started realizing in our business that a lot of couples would come in, and especially the ones that had a lot of success, we started noticing there was so much chaos that would be created because of how they treated each other, how they didn't treat each other, and how they chopped each other down. And they built nice businesses, and then they would lose it all in a divorce. And we started seeing this pattern over and over and over again. And that's when we went in search of the best when it comes to relationships and partnership and communication. And that's where we found Allison Armstrong, who's been one of our dear mentors and coaches, and we went to get certified with her. If you've never read the book, The Queen's Code, put that down. Both men and women, it is the best relationship book on the planet in our personal experience. It's called The Queen's Code. And when we started learning from her, our life, because as most of us know, relationships go up and down, and we had some challenges. When you have more success, that also breeds, doesn't mean that all your problems are gone, it just means you have more amplified problems. And so through Allison's work, we learned how to communicate, and it became the best relationship content that we've ever heard. And so we decided, let's get certified in it. And then we started sharing some of the things with some of our friends and some of our family, and their relationships started to shift with just little things we would share. And that's where we started our Warriors and Queens movement. We invited some people over the house at first, and we started doing some training and sharing with them. And then with our network marketing business, we would do these trainings called Chosen, where it was all about personal development. Yeah, we teach some sales skills, but the majority of the part would be more interaction. And most of the people, believe it or not, they wanted to talk about relationships because that was the source of a lot of their pain and their chaos. But relationships starts with ourselves and how we treat ourselves and the conversations we have with ourselves. And from that place, we started realizing, wow, there is a need in the marketplace. Yes, a great network marketing company will bring people in for what they want, which is more money, more freedom, more impact. But the greatest network marketing companies are the ones that give people what they need. And people need to believe in themselves. They need to have communication skills. They need to have good hearts. They need to want to be able to serve. And so that relationship movement started there, that evolved in from Chosen to Breakthrough, and now Warriors and Queens. Share a little bit of your story and who you are. I'd love to hear about a little bit of your background and what drives you. So with that, I'm planning on doing actually two Facebook Lives a day at 1 p.m. and then at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just to put some good content out there and stay connected. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Much love.